Hi guys, my name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Isn't it annoying when you do a 20-minute video and realise that it hasn't taped at all? And that's what I've just done. Thought I'd taped a 20-minute video, and in fact it taped 1 minute. I've got a sore throat from speaking here. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning, and happy birthday to tough guy Chuck Norris, who was the only baby to come into this world roundhouse kicking, instead of screaming. For more, just ask me for a Chuck Norris fact.
Right, also it's Sharon Stone's birthday today. Alexa, how old is Sharon Stone?
Sharon Stone is 65 years old.
She was in Basic Instinct, and I remember watching that when it first came out. Right, so we're going to go back to the very beginning. I am a single female. I come from Rochester in Kent, but I was originally born in Lewisham, London, SE26. Alexa, can we have a history of Lewisham in London?
From wikipedia.org. Lewisham was a local government district within the metropolitan area of London, England from 1855 to 1900.
Alexa, what is Lewisham like today?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, what is Lewisham in London like today?
I don't know that one.
Alright, Alexa, can you tell me about Lewisham in London?
Lewisham is a London borough in southeast London. It forms part of Inner London. The principal settlement of the borough is Lewisham. The local authority is Lewisham London Borough Council, based in Catford. The Prime Meridian passes through Lewisham. Blackheath, Goldsmiths, University of London and Millwall FC are located within the borough.
Right guys, so I was born in Lewisham, but I didn't live there. I was then taken home to my grandparents. My mum and dad live with my grandparents in Forest Hill in London, which is in SE23. Alexa, where is Forest Hill in London?
Forest Hill, London is located in the United Kingdom and it is from England.
Alexa, can you tell me about Forest Hill in London?
From wontheymarket.com. Forest Hill is a leafy suburb of south-east London with a strong artistic vibe.
So I grew up in London. I was born in Lewisham. I then went to Forest Hill, and then my dad and mum moved to a maisonette in Sydenham, Hazel Grove, London. Alexa, where is Sydenham, London?
Sydenham is located in the United Kingdom and it is from England.
Alexa, tell me about Sydenham in London.
I don't know that.
Alright, I'll tell you. I grew up in Sydenham, London. I stayed there till I was 16 years old with my mum and dad. My mum and dad moved from Forest Hill to Sydenham, to Bishopsthorpe Road. There was Kingsthorpe Road, Princethorpe's Road, Queensthorpe's Road, Bishopsthorpe Road. We lived in Bishopsthorpe Road in Sydenham in a small flat first. Then in 1975 my sister Amanda was born, and my mum and dad needed to move to a place called Hazel Grove, which where the council put us. We lived in council accommodation. We weren't rich, we were poor. My mum gave birth to my sister again in Lewisham Hospital, but I remember my mum's waters breaking when I was about 7, and she was watching It's a Knockout, and her waters broke, and they took my mum to Lewisham Hospital. I stayed with some neighbours cutting out things. I was very artistic even as a child. I cut out things out of the Argos catalogue and was cutting out the baby things out of an Argos catalogue and going to give it to my mum when she came back with my baby sister. At that time I didn't know whether my mum was having a boy or a girl, but she had a girl called Amanda who was my sister, and she had jet black hair when she was born. Jet black it was. Right, so I spent a lot of my time in Sydenham, London, going to school at Sydenham Girls' School in London, and an all-girls school because my dad chose it. And I would walk up Sydenham High Street, some lovely shops up there still, because I did revisit it some years back now, but I have revisited Sydenham, where I grew up as a young girl, and I've revisited Lewisham. I used to go to the Lewisham swimming baths with my friend. We used to go swimming together at Lewisham swimming baths. Sydenham had a swimming baths as there, and I used to go to school there, to the swimming baths with the school. There's Mayo Park, Home Park. Spent frequent days out in the summer at Home Park and Mayo Park and in the swing parks as a kid, etc. So I grew up in London. I want to give you my history because I've never ever lived in Liverpool. Never lived in Liverpool, never visited Liverpool. I visited Birmingham, I visited Manchester, but I've never been to Liverpool. So I'm a London girl. I grew up in London, South East London, never been to Liverpool. I met a guy from Liverpool off of a dating site. I met him at Chatham Railway Station. This is years ago now. And he came from Liverpool, and from Liverpool to Chatham, when I was living then, cost him 200 quid on the train to come down from Liverpool to Chatham. And he took me for a meal in Wetherspoons in Chatham, opposite the Prince of Wales pub. He took me for a meal and a drink. And he just really wanted to know about Chatham because he was interested in the dockyard and the boats, because this guy said he worked on a boat. He didn't have time for a relationship. He wanted to come down and see Chatham for the history of it because he worked on a boat and he didn't have time for a relationship. So we went to the Chatham Library where he looked at the books. He looked at the riverside, and then he went into the bookshop and bought a book on the Royal Navy. The Royal Navy. So this guy bought a book on the Royal Navy. He spent all day with me. We had a meal. He bought himself a book, and then he went home on the train. We went in several bookshops. Waterstones is it as well. We went in. He was looking for books on boats, historic ships, and then he went back home. But I've never ever been to Liverpool, so I think someone is confusing me with somebody else. I live in a lovely place called Rochester. Alexa, give me a bit of history of Rochester, Kent.
From penguin.co.nz. Born in Essex in 1964, Ross Kemp is best known for his portrayal of Grant.
Stop. Why the hell has she brought Ross Kemp into the equation? Did it sound like I said Ross Kemp? Alexa, can you tell me about Rochester in Kent?
From wikitravel.org. Rochester is a small cathedral city on the River Medway in the north of the English county of Kent.
I came to Rochester in 2020. I lived in London till I was 16, and then my dad decided to move because the housing was cheap in Chatham in Kent. It was very cheap, and the Medway towns were a poverty-stricken area, and of course housing was cheap. So he brought the cheapest accommodation he could. so we moved to Chatham in 1985. So Alexa, can you tell me about Chatham in Kent? Alexa, can you tell me about Chatham in Kent? Sorry, she's playing up. Well, Chatham is a place in Kent which has got a lovely historic dockyard. Charles and Camilla have visited the Chatham dockyard a few years back when I was living at Lansdowne Court. They visited the dockyard, Charles and Camilla, so it is well known. Alexa, can you tell me about Chatham? She's not going to speak to me, she gets stuck. So I came to Chatham in 1985 and I didn't like it. It's a deprived area. A lot of crime was going on in 1985 and I just didn't like the place, but my dad would not let me say a bad word against it. So 1985 to 1987, 2 years I stayed down in Chatham. Then I met my husband and I moved to Gloucestershire, and I moved there, and Gloucestershire is a royal place. Alexa, can you tell me about Gloucester?
From Gloucester. Gov.uk. Gloucester is the cathedral city of the Cotswolds in the southwest of England.
Alexa, what royals have properties in Gloucester?
From Veranda.com. Gatcombe Park is the Gloucester residence of Princess Anne, the Queen's only daughter, and her husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence.
Alexa, does King Charles have properties in Gloucester?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Well, I found out something new. Princess Anne has a property at Gatcombe Park in Gloucestershire. So Gloucester is a very royal place, and I know Charles and Camilla have properties in Gloucestershire. So I lived in Gloucestershire for 22 years, and then I came back to Chatham in 2008 and spent 3 or 4 years with my parents. Then I moved to my own property. Well, it was rented from the council, but I moved out by myself to Lansdowne Court in 2011, which was the year my sister passed away from multiple sclerosis. Well, that's what I was told anyway. And then I pushed to move out of Lansdowne Court after living there for 9-10 years, which was far too long in a pokey little bedsit, because that's all it was. They tried to make it look glamorous by saying it was a studio flat. In fact, Lansdowne Court was a no-bedroom flat, and I lived in a bedsit for 9 years. A tiny little pokey bedsit for 9 years, with inadequate heating, inadequate room, and the kitchen was near the lavatory. It was very unhygienic. And I lived in that condition for 9 years. And after keep on, that I got moved here. And it's just a bit better. It's a bit better. The balcony's to myself, because I was actually sharing a balcony with a lady at Lansdowne Court. This balcony is to myself. No garden. I had a garden for 22 years in Gloucestershire. I had 2 gardens. I had a front garden and a back. But things went wrong with my marriage and it got fucked up, so I lost the house. I lost it. And I ended up homeless and in a fucking bedsit through no fault of my own. And these things happen, but life hasn't been easy for me. It hasn't been easy for other people either. But, yeah, I've never lived in Liverpool. It's very flattering when someone gets attached to you, and when they try to copy you, and when they try to be you, and they copy the clothes you're wearing. Yeah, but, you know, there's a sinister side to this, a sinister side. where the person that's doing this to me has done bad things and they're trying to make themselves, whether it's stalking through dating sites, stalking through my social media. This morning I've actually had someone use my email address. And how do I know that? Because Google alerted me to some unknown email address trying to get into my Gmail account. So they've got no intention of meeting me, they've got no intention of snuggling up, going out with me, whatever, but they want to know where I am, what I'm doing. And if I don't speak to them through social media or messaging, they're now trying to hack into my email accounts. I don't know what they're doing it for. They're obsessed. And if I was I'm not going to go on about it because this ugly business is getting beyond a joke now. If I was ugly, they wouldn't copy my style for a start. They wouldn't copy my hair, they wouldn't copy my style, and they wouldn't want to look like me. And we've got guys wanting to look like me, and I'm a woman. Men. Right? And women can attract the gay community. Women can. I mean, some gay men can make great best friends. They can. I'm not disputing that. But when somebody is trying to make out they're you through sinister reasons, like they've been in trouble with the police, they've done bad stuff, and they're trying to swap identities with you to make you look bad, that's wicked. Wicked. Absolutely wicked. I'm a nice person. I try to help people. I've been through a lot. And a case of evil, mistaken identity. You're a man, you're a man. No, I'm not a man. That's quite obvious. You're a man with tits. Oh, really? Well, if you come and meet me face to face, instead of insinuating, throwing foul shit at me, and realise I am a woman, and I was born a woman, I've always been a woman, and I wouldn't want to change who I am, then you'd realise, wouldn't you? A man with tits. That's the latest one, guys. A man with tits. I've had 4 kids. I've got gynecological problems, and I just think it's a bloody joke. This person is fucked in the head. I think they're confused. It's hard not to be confused with the world as it is today. It's hard not to be confused as to your identity for some younger people. It is confusing. But I know who I am. I know what I am. I was born a female. I am a female. I've had 4 lovely children, and I love myself. I love the way I look, I love the way I dress, I love the way where I am in life. And I don't give a shit what everybody throws at me, what everybody says to me, to try and damage my reputation, because you can't damage it, because I know who I am, I know what I am, and I know where I'm going, okay? I don't need anybody to fucking throw or slur shit at me. Right, so that was a history lesson. I was born in Lewisham. I grew up in Forest Hill, Sydenham, London. And then I moved to Chatham in Kent. Then I moved to Gloucestershire. I returned to Chatham in Kent. And now I'm living in Rochester in Kent. So I've lived, Gloucestershire was quite a long time, 22 years living up there. Nice, quiet, rural place that is occupied by royalty. But I did not live in the royal part of Gloucestershire. Neither did I live in a very expensive part of Gloucestershire. I lived in a council house, a 2-bed council house. And when I got divorced in 2008, I lost that house and I was made homeless for 2.5 years. I've always lived in poverty. We've had the heating cut off, water cut off, and we've lived with no carpet and basic furniture. Right? I've certainly not lived like a royal. See you later.